Hey, so today we're going to be looking at a Python script that we can use to calculate an ELO score for baseball teams during the season, and we're going to be using baseball reference stats, so every evening when they update after the games, we can just run this script and it'll give us an updated ELO score for the following day. So we're going to be using pandas, and we're going to be using BeautifulSoup in this. So we need to import first pandas as PD. We're going to import requests as well, and we're going to say from BS4 import BeautifulSoup. Now we're going to have two functions. We're going to have a function where we're actually going to get the data from baseball reference, parse it, and then we're going to have a function where we actually calculate the score. So this first function is actually getting the games. We'll call it getGames. We need a URL, and that URL, grab that over here real quick. That URL is this: baseball-reference.com/league/major/2024-schedule.html. Then we need to send a GET request, get URL. We need to parse our HTML content with BeautifulSoup, page.content, html.parser. Then we need to find the section that contains the game data. So we're going to say that's results, and we'll call that results, and we'll say soup.find div with a class of section content. And then we need each individual game. So this is the div class that holds all of the games on the page, but there are individual games within that div. So we are going to call that row elements, and we're going to say results.find all p with a class name of game. Cool. So then we're going to write to a CSV file. So we're going to say with open. I'm going to call this ELO MLB.csv. You can call it whatever. If that's not a file that exists, it'll just create one. And we're going to say encoding equals UTF-8 as file. We're going to say file.write. Team A runs A, team B, and runs, don't want a space there, runs B, \n. And so this is basically our column headers in our CSV file. So we'll have 4 columns. There will be team A's score, team B, and team B's score. Now we want to iterate through each of our elements here. We found all of these individual games. We want to iterate through them. So we want to say for row element in row elements, we need to clean and actually parse the strings. So just follow along. I will try to explain parts of this as we go. I'm just going to assume that you're also going to use baseball reference. So we're going to say row string equals row element dot text dot strip, and that's going to get the text that exists inside of a tag. So if you had like a link tag, like an ahref tag, rather than being the entire code of ahref equals blah 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 blah, it's just going to give you the text that's inside of that tag. So it like click here or something as an example. And then we're going to say clean string equals row string dot replace We're going to replace any new lines, which is \n, with nothing. We are going to replace any spaces with nothing. And we are going to replace this weird string. I'm going to just paste that there, and we can hold for a second so you can get a look at it. We're going to replace that with nothing as well. Okay, we need to now split our string at, clean string dot split, and we're going to split it at the @ symbol. That's because the games are separated by one team and their scores with an @ symbol in between. So we're going to split them so we can have two different sides. So we're going to say the A string, the A team, equals split string 0, and we're going to say the B string equals split string 1. So that's the first and second ones. And now we're going to say the A score equals A string dot find, boop, plus 1, A string dot find, boop, right there. And then we're going to do the same thing down here for the B score. We're going to say B string plus 1, and then B string dot find. And so more or less what this is doing, the scores are actually wrapped in parentheses in this data. So we're slicing the string. We're starting at the occurrence of the open parenthesis plus 1. So we're starting the character after that, and then we're ending where the closed parenthesis is present. So that's basically what that's doing. And then we're going to need to get a team as well, and that equals A string dot replace. We're going to take away the parentheses here as well. We're going to replace that with nothing. We're going to replace the closed parenthesis with nothing, and then we're also going to remove the A score. So that's taking away just the score and the parentheses that wrap that. And then what's left over is the A team string. Okay, and we're going to do that for B team as well. B string cool beans. So now we can write all that to our CSV file, and we're going to say file.write. We're going to say A team plus comma, plus A score plus a comma. We're going to say plus B team plus comma, and you guessed it, plus B score plus not just a comma, but a comma and a \n to create a new line. And that will create our file for us that we called ELO MLB CSV, and that will have all of the games here. Okay, but we really haven't done anything. We've just scraped the data from Baseball Reference. So now we need to make our second function, and our second function will actually calculate the ELO score. So we're going to call this function getELO, and we need to read our CSV file. So we're going to say pd.read CSV elo mlb.csv, We need to drop some columns in there because this page actually has all future games listed on it, so it's got tons of data that is irrelevant. So we need to make sure that we drop those from our data frame. So we're going to do that like this. We're going to look inside the Team B column, and we're going to say if there is any of these values present, either an S, an X, or a W, we are going to drop those. Okay, we also need to make our runs column. We need to make it numeric, because otherwise we'll get an error that we're trying to divide by a string, well, more or less, but we need to make it numeric. So runs errors equals course. And we're going to do that same thing. I'm just going to copy and paste this. And we're going to do that same thing for runs B. Runs B and runs B. Fantastic. So now we need to make some lists. We need to make a list for both of the teams, and we need to make a list for their scores so we can more easily iterate through everything. So we're going to say this is home team list equals df team A to list, and then we're going to say home points equals df runs A to list. We're going to say away team list, just do the same thing for that. And away points equals df to list. Okay, now we need to make a master list of all the teams, and we need to make sure that that list contains every single team, and that there are no doubles there. So how we're going to do that is we're going to say team list equals home team list plus away team list, and then we're going to do this. We're going to say team list set equals list set team list. So that's going to make sure that we've got every single team and that there are no doubles there. Now we need to establish our initial ELO scores, and we're going to use a list for that as well. We're going to say ELO list equals 400. So we're going to set everybody's ELO score to a initial value of 400. Now we need to iterate through all of the games so we can get our ELO score. So we're going to say I equals 0, and while I is less than the length of the home team list, we're going to say home index equals team list set dot index home team list I. Away index equals team list set dot index away team list I. And that's just finding the current teams in the list that we made from our CSV file. So now we need to find their location within the ELO list. So we're going to say home team equals ELO list home index, and then we're going to do the same thing here. Away team equals ELO list away index. Now we need to calculate what I'm calling the probability, but is not actually the probability. It's just a number that we can use in our equation. So that is going to be the team total, and that's away team plus home team. That's both of their ELO scores added together. And we're going to say that the ho team, prob equals home team divided by team total. So once again, this isn't the actual probability of them winning. I'm just calling it the probability because I'm dividing their actual ELO score by the total. I should have probably picked a different variable name for that, but we're just going to use this in our formula to calculate the ELO score. So now that we've got all that done, it's time to actually calculate that. So we're going to say if home points I is greater than away points I. Let's see here. I'm just going to type it out and try to explain it afterwards. So we're going to say that ELO list home index equals home team plus the away team prob times away, parenthesis there, I need a parenthesis, away team divided by 20, and then we're going to multiply that by home points I minus away points I, and then we need to multiply that guy times the away team prob. And we're going to do that same thing here for the away team, more or less. And once again, this is if the home team is actually winning. But we're going to change this to the away index. We're going to change this to the away team. And we're going to subtract this value. So more or less what this is doing, let's try and scroll over here so you can get a better look. We're taking into consideration how badly a team is beaten or how close a game it is. And then we're taking the ELO score here and we're dividing it by 20. I tried that with lower numbers. It seems to be that doing 5% of their ELO score has a more realistic comparison to what the actual ELO score would be. Since this is just my version of it, I'm just going to kind of leave that there for you for a second so you can get a second to type that down. I guess you could always pause. But this is once again if the home team wins. And we're going to subtract that value from the away team. It's also important to note that whether the home or the away team wins, the value added will be the same value that's subtracted from the opposite team. So now we're going to go down here and we're going to say else, and we're going to do, this would be the away team wins. So we're going to say away index equals away team plus home team prob this time times the home team ELO divided by 20 times the away points minus the home points. And then once again, we're going to multiply that guy home team prob. We're going to just copy this and we're going to change this guy to the home so that his score gets updated as well, and minus. Alrighty, and so that's going to calculate our ELO scores, but remember we're looping through here, so we need to increase the value of I so that we're not just getting one game. So we're going to say I equals I plus 1. And then we can finally put our data into our data frame. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some data in the data frame already, because when I try to add data to an empty data frame, that apparently isn't a thing that you can do. So I'm going to put my team in here as a placeholder called the Ball Sackers, and we're going to give ourselves an ELO of 69. And we're going to say df final equals pd.dataframe, and we'll drop our data into that. We then need to iterate through the teams and their ELO scores to get our final ELOs. So we're going to say for x, y in enumerate team list set new row equals pd.dataframe, and we're going to say team list set is x, their ELO is ELO list x, and then we want to say index equals 0, and df final equals pd concat new row, and df final dot loc. There we go. And from there we can go ahead and print our data frame. But I also want to save this just in case I need to use the file for some reason. So we're going to say df final dot to csv, and we're going to save that right back as elo mlb.csv. And with that, all we have to do is run our functions. So we're going to run get games first. That's going to scrape the stats off of baseball reference, and then we're going to run get elo, and that's going to get our elo scores. It'll print it and it will save it to a CSV file. So let's go ahead and save that, and let's run it. What did I call it? And there we go. As you can see, the Kansas City Royals, as an example, have an ELO of 543, looking quite a bit better than the Cardinals at 362. So yeah, hopefully this helps you guys. Maybe I can add on to this in the future and do something cool with it. Thanks for watching.